Okay, before I get going, I just want to tell you guys to go over to this video here, which is Doctor Who Experienced. It's me and John and Chris from Whotubia going around the Doctor Who Experience and generally just sort of annoying the public and the other people that paid to be in there, and it's very funny. So if you want to check that out, please do. Those of you who are disappointed at my behind the scenes of the Doctor Who Experience will probably find that one a lot more enlightening. Now on to the main thing. A lot of you over on Twitter, my Twitter being Chris is Snowy, have asked me what I thought of the amazing Spider-Man trailer, the Dark Knight Rises trailer, and the temporarily leaked trailer for the Avengers. Here are my thoughts. Okay, first the Avengers, the one I have little to say about, really. I don't have too much to mention because the trailer was only online for a while. There are a few versions floating around still that are just terrible quality, or versions that people taped from watching it on a screen, so it doesn't really work. You see enough to tantalise you. Captain America and Nick Fury at the start of the trailer, a few sequences, very brief, again it's a very small trailer, of Thor and Tony Stark, and Thor and Tony Stark as Iron Man interacting with each other. That alone is exciting enough, and I can't wait to see if they're going to dish it out at Comic-Con this coming weekend. Hopefully they will. Maybe we'll get it online shortly after that in a proper HD format. Fingers crossed. Cannot wait to see what Joss Whedon, the god behind Buffy, has done with the Avengers. On to my favourite of the three trailers, The Dark Knight Rises. Once again, Christopher Nolan is surpassing expectation by not giving us anything to draw from, immediately making us incredibly excited and hyping it up even more. The reason The Dark Knight got such a good sort of marketing thing going on was it had a viral marketing campaign featuring the Joker, and there was 2 teaser posters released way before any details were really given. That was the Batman stood in front of the Burning City block with the bat symbol in the flames above him, and the one of the misted glass with the "Why So Serious" and the smile drawn on, and the very faint image of the Joker behind the glass. The Dark Knight Rises teaser trailer. In terms of new footage, all we get is Gordon in a hospital bed. Hope he's alright. A very brief shot of Bane, his face, his facial area, and a very brief shot of Bane, what I assume is Bane, staggering forward whilst Batman, Christian Bale, is sort of lagging a bit, like mid-fight. It's a very brief shot, but it's enough to make you go, he's losing. Gordon mentions that Gotham needs Batman again, which means he's been away. So possibly been keeping on the, lying low after the events of The Dark Knight. But yeah, the rest of the trailer seems to be voiceover of Liam Neeson from the first movie, Batman Begins, as well as footage from Batman Begins, proving the rumours that this is going to come full circle, because as we know there is an actor cast as the young Ra's al Ghul, or Ra's al Ghul, or Ra's al Ghul, based on however you choose to pronounce it, Dark and Dakin, whatever, who, of course, was Liam Neeson's character in Batman Begins. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen Batman Begins, but you should have done by now. And the character in the comics is able to resurrect himself with the Lazarus Pits, so it's very possible that Ra's al Ghul that Liam Neeson will appear in this movie as well. Fingers crossed. Brilliant villain. Hopefully Scarecrow will get another little appearance, like he has done in both films now. Main in the first one, cameo in the second. It'd be nice for him to have a full circle as well. So yes, Dark Knight Rises. Nothing is given away. You can watch it down there. Links in the doodly-ho, the void down there. So check it out. Dark Knight Rises teaser trailer. Looking forward to that one. Now here's where it gets a little bit depressing. The Amazing Spider-Man. Ooh. See, I'm so depressed. I've gone ill. I'll give a bit of backing story for the Amazing Spider-Man trailer. Basically, Sam Raimi had let out, as far as I'm aware, I can't remember the full details, but Sam Raimi basically made it clear that Spider-Man 3 flopped and the story wasn't as good because there was a lot of interference from the studio, Sony. For example, in the past, Raimi had said he didn't want to do Venom in a movie because he finds the character incredibly boring. I don't find the character boring, I love Venom, but you know what I mean, like Sam Raimi didn't want to do him, so it was unlikely he was going to put him in a movie. All of a sudden, he changed his tune when the early press started for Spider-Man 3, and of course when you see the film, you see that not only is the black suit in it, interesting enough story, terribly handled in the film, studio interference, but Venom was in the finale and really rushed and wasted, and oh god, Spider-Man 3 is a train wreck. Now, Spider-Man 4 was in pre-production not that long ago, about a year and a half ago, but from what people can gather, the studio were interfering again. So Sam Raimi walked, followed by Tobey Maguire, followed by the script writers, etc, etc. So basically people left. Sony don't want to give up the rights to the Spider-Man franchise. Of course, it is a big cash cow. It makes them a lot of money, and they have to make a Spider-Man film within a certain amount of time to keep the rights, unless they, of course, then don't, and it defects back to Marvel Productions, which is not necessarily a bad thing. Look at their movies: Iron Man, Incredible Hulk, Iron Man 2, Thor, Captain America, The Avengers. Good things are happening under Marvel's own banner. Sony, of course, not so much. Spider-Man 1 and 2, excellent. Spider-Man 3, rubbish. The first Hulk film, I think, was Sony. It's just not working with them holding the franchises. So when Sony turned around and announced that they were in development with the new Spider-Man film, rebooting the entire franchise, it didn't come as much of a surprise to myself and other Spider-Man fans around the world. Now, I care very deeply about that character because he's my absolute favourite fictional character. I love Peter Parker. And that's the problem with this trailer. If you watch it, the link is in the doodly-ho down below in the void, go click on it. If you watch the teaser trailer for The Amazing Spider-Man, you'll see that this trailer doesn't focus on the character of Peter Parker, but more the visuals of the film itself, which is very upsetting. The story of Spider-Man is the story of Peter Parker, the people in his life, and the way that his secret identity affects his life, as well as what he gets up to with his secret identity, but they are really second to the soap opera element of the story. One bit of information we're getting out about this film earlier on, I was excited. I heard that Gwen Stacy was the love interest, who originally was Peter Parker's first proper love interest, not Mary Jane. Love Mary Jane, but it'd be nice to see the Gwen Stacy story told properly instead of her just being a dyed blonde-haired Bryce Dallas Howard cameoing in the third movie and posing for model shots on a photocopier. Sexy, but totally unnecessary. With Gwen being involved, that means her dad, Captain Stacy's involved. Brilliant character, chief of police. We've got Peter's parents cast in potential flashbacks, or maybe in the early scenes of the film before it shifts to the present. Now, the trailer shows quite heavily at the beginning his mother and father, as though they're going away to do something. Now, they were involved in some very dodgy operations in the comics, but you can go and read that for yourself and find out what's happening. But the point is that, in some incarnations of the comic, including Ultimate Spider-Man, Peter's dad was responsible for the formula that Peter then uses as web fluid. Their web shooters are in this film, it's not coming out of his wrist, it's coming out of the machines he makes, like in the comics. Now, there's a bit where in the trailer he has hold of a bag that apparently belonged to his dad, according to Uncle Ben. Now, Aunt May and Uncle Ben, not much of them is seen in the trailer, but they look the part, definitely, and they seem very warm from what we can see. But this bag, I'm assuming, again, don't see much, has like the formulas and stuff that he then takes on. Gwen Stacy's a lab assistant at what looks like Dr. Kurt Connor's lab, Kurt Connor's being the Lizard being the villain. I could go on for ages why I think the Lizard being the main villain of a Spider-Man movie is a bad idea, but I'll do that in probably another video. Gwen Stacy's a lab assistant, he's looking around the labs for whatever reason, he gets bit by a spider on the back of the neck. There's a bit in the trailer where he pulls a web out the back of his neck. Fair enough, as long as he's not shooting them out the back of his neck in the film, then that's going to be fine. But, yeah, this trailer... Oh, God. When it was announced that Andrew Garfield was playing Peter Parker, I was very happy. He's a brilliant actor. He's in that one with Kerry Mulligan and Keira Knightley, whatever that was called, Never Let Me Go or something. And I know him from The Social Network and The Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus. And he's very, very good in those movies, and I thought he will make a great Peter Parker, plus British actor. Woo, go us! But this is where it gets irritating. If you watch that trailer, it does precisely what everyone, especially Spider-Man fans, what everyone was hoping would not happen, and that is the trailer looks like Twilight. Now, stand back, Twilight lovers, I'm not insulting that franchise, I don't like that franchise, but I'm not insulting it. What I'm saying is, it's a dark, broody trailer. It's focusing on teenage pangs. There's a bit in class where he's sort of keeping quiet to himself and he's got his hood drawn over his head. Peter Parker wasn't like that. Sure, he was a quiet lad, but he wasn't like that sort of, keeping to myself. Like, I know this isn't the 60s, this isn't 1962, 1963 when we first saw Peter Parker. But essentially, Spider-Man comics, no matter what big action goes on, or horrible things happen, or dark storylines there are, essentially they are very feel-good stories. Like, there are things to love in there. And in this trailer, the mood is dark, broody, atmospheric, and the tagline is befuddling. I guess it has something to do with whatever his dad's left behind, but the tagline at the end of the trailer is, we all have secrets, those we keep and those that are kept from us. Sorry, I think I much prefer the opening monologue of, Who am I? You sure you want to know? My story's not for the faint of heart, like all stories, it begins with a girl, or whatever, from the start of Spider-Man. That's a more sort of, there's a bit of a bounce to it, sort of like, that's mysterious, but it's also nice and audible and whatnot. Soppy, but yeah. But this one's all like mysterious and dark and like, are you ready to play God? Is one of the voiceovers. You ready to play God? I'm guessing that's Connor's, but whatever. I'm just feeling nothing exciting from this trailer. There is one sequence at the end of it for the last sort of 30 seconds or so, which is a first-person sequence, all CGI, but it's a first-person sequence as though you are looking through the eyes of Spider-Man. Now, Mr. Repsian said this in his video review, and I shall pop it down there. He's also a very passionate comic book fan. He said that if you want to see first-person of anything, go play a game. Go play a video game. Play Black Ops. Play that brief section in the... I think it was one of the Spider-Man movie games 1 or 2 where you could toggle your eyesight and you could be first person. Go do that. When you watch a film, you don't want to be the character. You want to watch the character. You want to watch their story develop. You want to get involved with them as much as you can, invest in them, but not be them. So as flashy and as wonderful as that effect sequence is, it just makes me think that The Amazing Spider-Man is focusing solely on style, visual delivery and slick direction, as well as trying to appeal to what it believes is its core audience, which is the teenage market, but it isn't. Spider-Man is a family property. People from like 2 to 90 adore the stories of Spider-Man. So please, Sony, please tell me, a dedicated Spider-Man obsessive, please tell me that this trailer isn't an accurate depiction of what we're going to see in The Amazing Spider-Man. Because I really want this movie to be good. So, I've talked on for a very long time and without breathing most of the time, so I'm probably going to die from oxygen failure any second. But before I go, I'd like to say, yeah, Avengers trailer, nice and mysterious, would like to see an HD version. The Dark Knight Rises trailer, very good and enticing, doesn't give away too much, but enough just to make you want to see more. And The Amazing Spider-Man trailer, it looks a bit disappointing, I'm going to die now. And don't forget to subscribe. Hey!